Hi everyone and welcome to Back in Time Fiction, the little channel dedicated to historical fiction and historical fantasy. If this is your first time on this channel, a double welcome to you. My name is Baptiste Pinson Wu. I'm the writer of the ongoing Three Kingdoms Chronicles series, but today I'm talking to you as a reader of historical fiction. And I'm not alone this time, I'm with my son. Hi. Tu dis bonjour? Coucou. Coucou. You show you? Bisous. Ouais. And we are going to review together The African Samurai, written by Shreve, a novel set in 16th century Japan. And I thought, hey, you know what, since we are reviewing a story based in Japan, why not doing it from the outskirts of Tokyo? So let's have a walking review. That's a first for me. It's going to be fun. Let's talk about The African Samurai by Shreve. The book is coming out in about 2 weeks from now, so like early August 2023, but I was really lucky enough to receive an ARC from Canelo, the publisher of the book in the UK, so thank you very much for this opportunity, guys. So The African Samurai is historical fiction, of course, a novel set in Japan, and it follows the story of Yasuke, who is, I believe, the first samurai with African origins. So we are going to dive deeper into this in a second. I just wanted to mention that this is a book that I was really looking forward to. Now, I didn't know who would write it one day, but I really wanted a novel about Yasuke. This is a time period that I really adore, and I'm quite knowledgeable about it. And Yasuke, among all the amazing characters of this civil war known as Sengoku Jidai, the Warring States period, is one of the most fascinating there is. So I was looking forward to it, but at the same time, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, yeah, probably now, Netflix, I believe, made an anime movie out of Yasuke, and I cannot state how much I hated that movie. I really hated it. The reason why is that they took an amazing story and they added so much to it, like so many unnecessary things, like mecha. I think there was like shamanism, voodoo, horror, demons, magic, like telekinesis. There were like so many things that didn't need to be there, while the story of Yasuke is plenty enough as it is. So I was a bit wary of any new adaptation of Yasuke, whether it be novel, movies, or TV show. I think there is actually a TV show about to be made around the character of Yasuke. So now, let's go back to The African Samurai. Did it fall in the same pit as this Netflix anime, or do I believe that everyone should read it? Let's find out. So a bit of context. Yasuke is a story set in like second half of 16th century in Japan during the Warring States period. That's a time that is very brutal, violent, where Japanese warlords were fighting Japanese warlords all over the nation territory, and one of them, his name is Nobunaga Oda, almost managed to unify all the land. So he came out from a small background and as a warlord, as a daimyo, and managed to almost unify Japan. Now Yasuke, he arrived serving Jesuits, so he was serving Jesuit fathers, and through the scheming of this Jesuit father, as we find out in this book, ends up serving Nobunaga Oda. He becomes a retainer of this most powerful daimyo in Japan. Now, I can't spoil the rest, I will not say what happens then, but it's an amazing story to begin with, and as such, it makes for an amazing novel. So this is where we begin the book. We start with Yasuke and the Jesuits about to land in Japan, and I must say, I wasn't completely engaged in this book from the first chapter. The reason why is that Yasuke is already so badass. He speaks several languages. He is very skilled in fighting. You know, he can fight using several weapons. He He's very intelligent. He's a little bit too good in many ways. So I was afraid that we wouldn't really know why. We wouldn't learn why he's that good. But actually, I think after a couple of chapters, we start receiving flashbacks, starting from his village, where he grew up as a child, and how he was taken from it. And then we learn slowly throughout the book about his journey leading him to Japan and to becoming such a beast. And I must say, Craig Shreve did an amazing job here at giving just the perfect amount of flashbacks. Sometimes you have books that will give you too many to the detriment of the main line of the story, so it kind of drowns the central story, and readers might lose interest. Here that's not the case. The balance is perfect, just giving enough information to keep going and know more about the character. That was really good. I love those flashbacks. So really, it's the story. It's pure historical fiction, and it's the story of a man, taken from Africa, brought to Japan, I guess, during one of its most turbulent times. And well, let's stop the suspense here. I absolutely loved this book. It was a great book. I wish I wrote this book. I think that would have been a very fun book to write. So well done, Craig Shreve, for this impressive novel. So what did I really like about this? I think I'll talk a little bit more later, but the central part of this novel is the relationship between Yasuke and his warlord, Nobunaga Oda, how this relationship develops and how the main character develops with it. He's not completely done changing, and I think this relationship is super interesting, but I think the point that impressed me the most with the African Samurai was the cast of character, which is very limited. Like, I know in my books I tend to put too many characters, or so some have said. That's not the case here. The African Samurai, I think you finish it with about 12 names that are recurring top. You have, I'm sure you have a bit more characters, but the names that come back all the time, it's something between 10 and 12 characters, which is very small for a historical fiction novel set in such a popular time. Like if you've played games like Samurai Warriors or Sengoku Basara, Nobunaga's Ambition, these kind of things, you probably know 50, 60 characters just at the top of your head. And here you have 10, 12, and they are well chosen, well described. Their relationships are great. So really that was impressive to do such a novel with so few characters. And I think for people who are not familiar with Japan and Japanese names, that actually works much better. That's actually my next point. I think that's a book that everyone can enjoy, even if you don't have a great knowledge of Japanese language or culture or history. I think Craig did a very good job of giving just enough that we feel really immersed, but not too much, so that it's not like drowning the experience. So if you have a bit of interest in Japan, but you don't know much about it, really pick up The African Samurai. It's a great entry into this culture and into this time period of the Sengoku Jidai. Now, among those characters, I really want to point out two of them. The first one is Ranmaru Mori. Now, Ranmaru Mori was the closest advisor or servant to Nobunaga Oda, and I feel like very often he is not justly portrayed. So he's described in history as Nobunaga's lover. Maybe this is why his image is not always great, I don't know, but I feel like there is always something a bit missing with him in all those adaptations. Now in Craig Shreve's African Samurai, Ranmaru Mori is amazing from beginning to end. Finally someone gave him justice. That's great. And the second one I want to name is Akechi Hidemitsu. Now, if you've played the Onimusha games, you know him as Samanosuke Akechi. But I have to warn you, he's very different in that novel is really interesting too, but in a different way. As you can hear, I'm really passionate about this book. I loved it. Now let's see how it holds on my new rating system. So first, the writing, I think I will give it 4.5 stars. There was nothing bad about the writing. It flowed naturally. It wasn't flowery. There was just natural good writing. I really have to mention the space given to music, dance, rhythm into this writing that felt refreshing, and yeah, I quite loved the writing. So 4.5 stars. The characters, I will give 4 stars. I said I loved every characters. I think they are all super well written. Their motivations are clear. All of this. This being said, I think there could have been more given. We could have gotten more about the antagonists. They are really in the background, and now it makes sense when you know the story. But I think we could have gotten a bit more. Same when it comes to this relationship between Yasuke and Nobunaga Oda, so the main relationship of this book. It wasn't conflictual enough to, I believe, sometimes I felt like this relationship was a little too good. Still worked very well. Like I said, it's one of the best part of the novel. I just think that could have been a bit more conflictual. Alright, I'll continue this review from the other side of the bridge because it's quite noisy right now. Alright, let's finish this review from a quieter environment. On the story side, I will give 4 stars to African Samurai. It was a great story. I think my only complaint is that I wanted more. Seriously, I need more. Craig, where's the rest? Can you make another one of those? Like what happens after, maybe? So yeah, story 4 stars. History, I will give 5 stars. Now, Craig Shreve did such an amazing job bringing Japan, 16th century Japan, to the page. Alright, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching this review of the African Samurai. I leave you in the company of another samurai, that's Hijikata Toshizo from the Shinsengumi. Another one that would deserve a book. Feel free to leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of the African Samurai after you read it. If you haven't yet, go pre-order or order the book. I'll leave the links in the description as well as the links to my own book. So take a few seconds to check them out. I will come back very soon for more content on the very best genre of literature, that's historical fiction, by the way. Until then, grab a book and enjoy. See ya. Bye. On dit bye bye? Bye bye.